This is the second of our interviews with David Suich, and we're talking again about near-death experiences. David has written a wonderful book, God Took My Clothes, and I've read it very thoroughly, and I've made notes, and we're going to cover a little bit of it today, but it's got so much information. I'm really glad that I took notes on it because I would have missed a lot of really, really neat stuff. Every sentence, it's just packed, just so you know. If you want to read it, it's packed with information. And today I want to talk about heaven. Are you up for that?
Absolutely, James.
All right.
One of my favorite subjects.
Oh, good. And by heaven, I guess I'm thinking this is when we have our near-death experience, we leave our human body and we go somewhere. Is that what we're talking about? Heaven?
Yes. So in reality, there really is no heaven and hell. There are simply countless numbers of realms in the afterlife that are created by the collective groups of consciousnesses in those realms. Some are lower vibration, some are higher vibration, but nobody gets punished to hell or sent to hell. Lower vibrational, unpleasant realms are voluntarily experienced by souls for the purposes of learning or growth. 97% of the testimonies I've heard, they're overwhelmingly positive, and they're in these beautiful environments that we would traditionally characterize as heaven.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
All right. Yes, it does. And I appreciate you explaining because it's far more complex than just a one word, either this or that. And another day, I would like to talk more about the different realms and that sort of thing, because that's kind of more the intermediate course, I think, on that. And so today, I'm just going to start off with a quote in your book from a person who had a pancreatic tumor. He said, "Everyone who sees heaven, even for 1 second, wants to stay forever, no matter how nice their life might be on earth." And that kind of says a lot right there. For 1 second, you see it, and it's like, oh, that's all I need. And I guess what happens is it's that growth. It's the growth of the combined collective that has to happen through people going to earth, right?
Yes. So consciousness learns through contrast. So we have the fear-love duality down here, and that kind of helps heaven to grow and expand.
Okay. All right.
So, show me a super successful person who didn't have challenges.
Right.
It's the challenges that make us stronger.
Yes.
You lift weights or you do exercise. That's what makes you stronger. It's the same with consciousness.
Okay. Oh, that's a great analogy. I have some people that I interviewed on the podcast that have become friends now, and they offer a service called the Next Great Adventure. And when someone looks like they're getting closer to the end, they can ask Charlotte and Melissa Abel to do an evaluation of what's going to happen when they first get there. And Melissa will go and check it out. And what they'll do is then she'll do a recording and explain, your Uncle Joe's going to meet you, and he's going to be very easy to recognize, and he's going to be doing this, and this is, you're going to be at a farm, or you're going to be, and she'll give an explanation of what's going to happen, because it is common that many people are greeted by relatives and things when they get to heaven, what we're calling it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. A lot of people are greeted by a grandparent or a parent or our brother or sister that died before them. Every experience is different because they'll create entire environments to make the person feel comfortable. So if you're a big fan of nature, they'll bring you into one of heaven's gardens, which they're indescribable.
Okay.
There's flowers that sort of make these heavenly tones. They glow with their own light, and the fragrances are amazing. And there are giant trees, larger than our redwoods and sequoias. People have seen flowers as big as our trees.
Oh my goodness.
Gardens of heaven are quite beautiful. And of course, and I think we mentioned it in the previous video, here on Earth, we have three primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. Or if you're talking about a TV screen, red, blue, and green. And a mixture of those three primary colors form all the colors of the rainbow. In that first level of heaven, where there's kind of a physical environment, there's over 80 primary colors. So just the colors are mind-blowing. There's beautiful, vibrant colors that don't exist here. And a lot of people talk about the colors of heaven. And of course, a lot talk about the beautiful music. They say our best music down here on Earth in heaven sounds like a child banging on a pan with a stick.
It's overwhelming just to hear about it. The idea that here I was moments ago, Joe Blow, driving my car down the road, and then I get hit by a tractor trailer. And now I'm seeing these kind of colors and hearing this music and being greeted by loved ones that are welcoming me. What an incredible experience. In your book, you described that this level, where people go to initially, is kind of laid out somewhat like Earth, with streets, houses, all typical kind of buildings that we have here. Is that correct? Could you talk about that a little bit, please?
Yeah, so it's kind of like a transitional place.
Okay.
And there's streets that are, it sounds crazy to say it, but this isn't me. This is what they've said, paved with gold. I think it says that in the Bible.
Yes.
And there are big cathedrals that are built with crystals that glow with their own light. One guy even said, "Oh, you kind of copy our cathedral designs on Earth." And they told him in heaven, they said, "No. You human beings are aware at some subconscious level about what they look like here in heaven, and you try and copy us." And of course, you guys don't have crystals that glow with their own light.
Yes.
So you put what you see in every old cathedral, stained glass. It's the closest thing we have. And there are mountains and parks and gardens and rivers and lakes and buildings and all sorts of beautiful places. It's immaculately clean. There's no cleaning required. I recall one lady, she was in heaven with her brother, and she ate this peach. It was like a peach, but much tastier. And she's like, "Well, what do I do with the seed?" She said, "Well, just throw it on the ground." And she didn't want to do it, because the place was immaculate. So she throws it on the ground into the grass. And the second she did, the seed just dissolved into the grass and went away. So the whole place is self-cleaning. So it's immaculately beautiful. Nothing dead, nothing brown. It's just a gorgeous place. Matter of fact, one guy, he said, "Oh, I went to one of the parks in heaven." And he says, "It was really beautiful." And I said, "Well, what do you mean? Like Yosemite?" And for those of you who don't know, Yosemite National Park in California is one of the world's most beautiful parks. People come from all over the world. There's these big waterfalls and this glacial valley. And he says, maybe 100 times more beautiful than Yosemite.
Oh my God.
So we can't even imagine the beauty.
Can't imagine it.
Right? It's an amazing place out here.
Can't imagine it at all. And you had said that there are different layers, different levels of heaven. And I don't want to go too far into that, but could you just describe that a little bit? We're talking now, what we're talking about with the beauty and things and the music and all that we've talked about. That's at that initial level when you first arrive. Is that right?
Yes. Okay. For some people.
Okay. And then what could possibly be another level? I can't imagine other levels. And I guess there are many levels,
can't describe it. Yeah, I mean, the first one is sort of laid out like the physical world, but even that's difficult to describe in human words. And the higher levels are more mysterious and wonderful. And I've only heard a small number, just a handful of testimonies of people went to higher levels. And if you ask them, well, what was that like? And they just go, "Yeah, I'm not even going to try. There's just no."
Oh, okay.
you can't do it.
Okay.
Well, let's put it this way. Imagine you're Helen Keller. You're blind and deaf.
Right.
You're in a world of silent darkness your whole life, and you're surrounded by people who are all just like you. And then for 1 hour, you can see and hear. How are you going to describe that to the people in silent darkness? You can't.
Right.
Impossible. Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about here. It's at such a level that there's nothing to compare it with here in Earth.
Yeah. And so one of the things that happens, the reason why souls want to come down here and have a life is because it's such a huge growth and learning experience.
Okay.
So in heaven, they explain to you there are two ways to do things: slow over time and fast. But if you do it fast, you're going to suffer. So it's like if I said, you got 3 years to build a house. Okay, you're not going to suffer much. What if I say you got 3 weeks? Well, you can do it, but you're going to be working long, hard hours and suffer. So this is like the fast learning school.
Okay.
And it's not like a brownie point system, like a cosmic Santa Claus. Oh, James was good, so we're going to give him a reward. No, it's like hiking. So if you want to see the most beautiful views, the view from the top of Mount Everest is gorgeous. You have to be an expert hiker.
Okay.
So when you raise your vibration, raise your consciousness, and you learn, it allows you to access the higher levels of heaven, which are more blissful and glorious and amazing than the last. But to describe them in human words, we cannot.
Okay. Okay. Well, one thing that was in your book that I thought was so nice is that how people on earth, when someone dies, they say, oh, I just lost my husband. I lost my husband. And you kind of correct that thought as, no, they're not lost. They're just not here. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. I mean, if I said to you, well, James, for the rest of my life, I'm moving to this tropical paradise island where I'm going to be surrounded by servants and luxury and have this amazing life. And, when it's back, I'll come back. You wouldn't say I was lost. It's a temporary separation.
Right. Right.
And so, yeah, we even see our pets again. I mean, that was a shocker to me. I lost track of how many times people said, well, I got to heaven and, my dog was there. My dog Skippy was there. And then they could communicate with him telepathically. And one guy, he was even shown all these animals. And the person talking to him in heaven said, yeah, they all kind of, any pet you've ever had or animal you've ever loved, they all kind of are up here playing and happy, waiting for you to arrive so they can be reunited. So we even get to see our old pets that we thought were long. They're alive and well. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Our family had a dog when I was 4, 5, 6, something like that. And I love that dog so much. And the thought of being reunited with that dog is just it's emotional. That's amazing. And people do love their pets and they take care of them and they get a lot from them. And that's so neat that they're going to be there. They're going to be there. Uh-huh. And when we're there, what has been told to you is that we're probably going to have some work to do while we're there. We're not going to be just hanging around, staring off into space.
Yeah, I mean, the image that Hollywood presents of sitting around on clouds playing a harp that's laughable. So people report those in heaven are very busy, but it's not a stress busy like we have here. And to say work, yeah, you're doing an important job, but it's not like work here. Right. So here we have a very strong distinction between work and leisure time.
Yes.
The work is the job that most of us don't like to do, and it's stressful. Now, the work you're doing in heaven is what you're really good at doing and what you love doing.
Oh, wow.
And the busyness is a busyness like when you go somewhere like, I'm going to take a trip to Europe, and you fill your agenda with all this stuff you want to see and do.
Right.
You're busy, but it's an exciting busy, I'm having fun busy. So that's the kind of busy it is. There's no stress in heaven. And you can always relax if you want. Free will is the highest law of creation because you can always stop your work. And remember, there's no time in heaven.
Okay.
There's no time in reality. It's a false creation in the physical realm.
Okay.
And so every soul in existence literally has all of eternity to do what they want. Never in a rush. Never.
My friend Charlotte lost her husband, who was a state trooper. And his job was occasionally getting the bad guys, but most of the time is helping people. People get in a jam, they're going to call the police to come help them out. And he loved it. He loved helping people. And so now she is a medium, so she can communicate with him. And he's basically has work that he does that he helps children who are taken suddenly and helping them to get adjusted to being not in human form, but in heaven as we talk about it. And I think that's so wonderful because it's like you said, it's not really work because he loves doing it, but it's something that he does that he's busy doing, helping people. That's so wonderful to think of. That there's no time going by. You've got all the time that you need or want.
Mm-hmm. And most people, like you make a good point, a lot of people will choose earthly careers that reflect their heavenly jobs and talents and likes. So if you're a great musician here, you're probably a musician in heaven teaching others. If you're a helper, you're probably doing that in heaven.
What's so interesting, because I thought of it as the opposite way. I thought of it if you are here on earth doing something, you'll probably do that in heaven. But like you said, it's really probably more the other way around, is that you're up
Yes.
there and then you decide you want to come down, and more likely that you're going to do what you've done up there. And
yeah.
very, very interesting. Very interesting viewpoint there. One of the topics that you cover in your book is the size of heaven. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that's probably just that physical realm that's kind of laid out like Earth.
Right.
But I can't remember what the dimensions were, but a few people mentioned it and they said it was 10,000 times bigger than the Earth. Just that particular realm. There's probably countless other realms.
Right.
And there's no space limitations. You have infinite space to expand. So yeah, you can create as much as you want. And there's no limits to creation. Creation, its only true limits, if you can even use that word, is the creativity and imagination of the souls inhabiting the realm. So what they do in the afterlife is they set up these things called quantum fields, and anything you can imagine is created and manifested. Now, down here, it's a slow process. You mentioned, I think, law of attraction.
Yes.
And you've got to be consistent and regular with that. Manifesting slow down here.
Yes.
Up in heaven, it's instantaneous.
Instantaneous.
Yes.
That's so wild and wonderful to think of. In the book, you talk about our ability to think when we are up in that heavenly realm, and that how we're pretty clear thinkers there. Could you talk about that a little, please?
Yes, the communication is nonlinear. It's mind to mind. It's very fast and extremely efficient. It's impossible to have a misunderstanding. So in human language, I say a bunch of words. You associate a meaning with each word. I say the word tree, and then you imagine a tree in your head. Now, you can misinterpret what I say because of this linear communication.
Right.
You can't have a misinterpretation. So it comes with this mind-to-mind communication, and then alongside of that, you get the emotion and the intention. So it's just like a video. You get sound and visual alongside. Well, the communication there carries a lot of things with it. Now, what do I mean when I say it's very efficient? People say they have a communication, they'll ask a question, bang, they get a download of an answer.
Okay.
And what do I mean by that? Well, it's like if I sent you an Adobe Acrobat file, PDF of the Bible, which is a pretty small file in terms of computer files, and it would arrive to your computer in 1 second.
Okay.
How long would it take you to read that?
Yeah, quite a long time.
So that'll give you an idea of how efficient. You can get a split second. I mean, there's not time up there, but just one little communication shorter than that could take you a year to explain to somebody. That's how efficient the communication is.
So let me just.
And they don't talk to you. They sometimes can, to some people, but the base communication up there is nonlinear.
Okay, so let me just back that up a little bit. So we're using that example of the Bible. If I'm in heaven and I'm saying to myself, I don't remember everything about the Bible, what's in this Bible? You would immediately just know everything that's in the Bible. Is that right?
You would know every word that was written in every version, who wrote it, the lives of those people who wrote it, why they wrote it, who they were inspired by, all the stories behind it, the misinterpretations that people have, the real meanings of the Bible, the hidden meanings that we don't see on earth. Yeah, it's a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot. Well, I'm so glad I asked you about that, because I was thinking it was more of a, like you said, it's a word for word. You got all the words, but that's not it at all. It's the words, the meaning, the intentions, the people, the context. Wow. That's fantastic. Yeah. Wow.
Now, some people will ask thousands of questions there in heaven before they're sent back, and they show you. They don't tell you, they show you. Now, other people, they kind of raise to a higher level, or I don't know why it happens, but they connect to universal consciousness. They have no questions.
Okay.
Because they know it all. They're connected to God consciousness. And it's kind of funny what they do. They go, how could I have forgotten this beautiful, elegantly simple, perfect plan of creation? Oh my goodness. how could I have forgotten that? It's so simple and so amazing and so wonderful. And I forgot it. And then they come back to Earth and their little monkey brains can't hold it,
Right.
so they can't
Right.
explain what it was.
Right. You wish that you could bring that knowledge back with you, but it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and then some people are horrified as they're coming back and they feel the knowledge slipping away and they're like, no, I don't want to forget this. But, the human body wasn't meant to hold that. Yeah, so.
Just as you talked about the incredible ability of the thought, one thing that really struck me as interesting is that when someone is there in that first realm, heavenly realm, there's beauty all around and they can see that with tremendous detail. And you gave the example of, let's see,
flower petal.
A flower petal 50 miles away. Yeah.
Yeah, people can look at things and see them down to the molecular level. So you can kind of zoom in. You got 360-degree vision, no blind spots.
Right.
And then anything you focus on, you can zoom in and see it to the base subatomic particles that's constructing it all.
And this is not David Suich making this up.
This is what I hear from
people
them.
have told you.
Not that creative.
This is what people have, and multiple people probably, right, that have told you that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, lots of people mention being able to see down to the molecular level. Some people, just when they come out of their bodies here on Earth, they have that supervision. And they go, wow, I looked at the grass and I could see every little molecule and every little string of protein. And yeah, it's really amazing.
Oh, it's wonderful, wonderful. And the music that you had referred to earlier, that it's kind of hearing, but it's kind of not. Could you talk about that a little, please?
It's how do you describe senses that we don't have here?
Yes.
So you have senses in heaven we don't have here.
Yeah.
Probably best description of the music in heaven comes from Don Piper's book, 90 Minutes in Heaven.
Okay.
It's a fairly well-known book.
Okay.
And he describes the music as it just fills you up. You become part of the music. And now he chose not to sing along, but he knew that if he sang, he would be in perfect harmony. And now he heard all these songs being sung at once. Now, if that was down on Earth, if you played, 100 songs at once, it would be a jumbled, annoying mess.
Right.
And up there, it's just this perfect harmony. And he said just these beautiful tones and songs and music, they just fill you up with emotion and good feelings. And he even just remembering those songs and music calms him when he's stressed out and that kind of thing. And he said that was his favorite part of heaven, was the heavenly tones and songs and music.
And he said that it's not that you just hear the music. It's like that he was part of the music and it played, played in his body and through his body. That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
It's mind-blowing.
I love music and that's just, I mean, everything is so overwhelming, just all these abilities, but it's so nice to be able to, I would use the term flesh out, to give detail to heaven, because these people have gone there and they've come back and they have talked to people, they have talked to you, and you have put it down in this book. And this is what is going on over there in heaven. And it's so when someone says, oh, I'm going to go to heaven, they don't know what it is. What are you thinking it is? I can tell you that.
Yeah, they have no idea how good it is.
No, no idea how good it is. So thank you, David, for talking about this in such detail, and the idea that you're really forever young there.
Old age is just something that happens temporarily here on Earth. It is temporary. Sometimes my grandkids will poke at me and say, "Are you getting old, Grandpa?" And I just laugh and I say, "Only for a little while." And they look at me like, "What is he talking about?" So
I've been talking to some people about quantum experiences, and that all of time is happening at the exact same moment, and it's now, and it's the past and the present and the future are all happening simultaneously right this second. And so I've started to think about, try to get that in my brain about how that is. But when you talk about that's the way it is there in this realm of heaven. It's looking from your book, yesterday, today, and tomorrow are all the same and all happening right now.
Yeah, I hear that over and over again. We like down here on earth, we have what happened yesterday, what's happening right now, and what's going to happen tomorrow. But they say in heaven, it's all the same. And then when they tell me their near death experiences, and this goes right back to the very first one I ever heard from Howard Storm, I said, well, in what order did this happen? And he said, no, there's no order.
Right.
Well, that doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it. I just know they say this over and over again.
I was reading a book about quantum consciousness, and it just says, oh, you can be in two places at once, and this, and and I just was trying to wrap my human brain around it, and you almost have to accept it rather than understand it. And
yeah, if you think about it too much, you'll go crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't. There's nothing I can understand and relate to that. One thing I thought was interesting too is that you indicated that people have told you that they met ancestors well outside of the lifespans. In other words, they might know their grandfather. That would be the oldest person. A few people might know their great-grandparents briefly, but in this, you could meet your great-great-great-grandfather, and you could meet them and you would know them, just know them like you've always known them.
People.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you see them and you just kind of like, there's a knowing in heaven. You recognize them, not by their physical appearance. You just go, oh, that's my great-great-great-grandfather on my father's mother's father's side or something like that. In fact, there was one testimony of a little 5-year-old girl. She got taken around heaven she called him Poppy.
Okay.
And my parents questioned her when she came back. Well, who's Poppy? Who's Poppy? And it came that it was her grandfather's father. And they showed her pictures. And no, it's not him. No, that's not him. So then, I don't know, a few months later, they were visiting another relative, and there was a picture of her great-grandfather when he was young. And she said, oh, that's Poppy. That's him. Oh. She didn't recognize him because they showed her pictures of when he was old.
Right.
And in heaven, he's young. So, yeah, she got all excited.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that's something to look forward to. One last thing that I want to talk about is so many people love Jesus and want to see Jesus and want to be with Jesus. And what you indicated in the book is that since time is so different there in the next realm in heaven, that Jesus has time to meet with people, and he can meet with everybody if they want to.
Oh, yeah. He spends individual time with people. So Jesus is like the core of God who acts as an advocate, helper, and friend. And so he interacts directly with human beings or souls that were human. And people talk about him like you hear the biblical Jesus and you get this sort of image of this kind of serious, religious, stern guy.
Kind of remote.
It's the exact opposite.
Kind of remote. It's like I get a feeling of my early religion times is he's kind of remote. He's
like this distance. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the opposite. He's like this laid back, talking to your best buddy, slapping him on the back, laughing. He's really funny. He's got a great sense of humor. And so it's just like talking to your best friend. You can say anything to him, and he's just a joy to be around. And he's so wise and brilliant and loving and experienced, and he's just wonderful to be around. And of course, yeah, they're multidimensional there. So imagine like if you had an intellect where you could think 1,000,000 times faster than the average human being.
Right.
Would you be content having one conversation? No. That would bore the heck out of you. You'd need to be having, a couple 100,000 conversations at once to hold your attention.
Yes.
Well, they're multidimensional. Okay. We are multidimensional in the afterlife.
Yes.
And so, yeah, there's not a limit like, you got to wait till I have time to talk to you. No. That doesn't happen.
Don't have to wait in the line to talk to Jesus. He's available.
Yeah.
Well, I want to finish up basically on that note, is that such a positive note. I mean, this has all been so positive. And there's a lot more that I like to ask you on another day. But this kind of detail, I think, is so vital. And if anyone's interested in learning more about it, again, the book is God Took My Clothes, and it's written by David Suich. And I'm enjoying the heck out of it. And I just am so glad that I am a TikTok addict, and I saw David on there. Is that part of your multimedia campaign, David?
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel and a TikTok channel. I don't have too many videos, but I'm trying to do a TikTok video every day. And, for those who don't want to spend money on a book,
Okay.
at the time of this recording, I'm still answering all emails, no charge. I answer with a voice message attachment because I get too many emails to answer, by typing.
Okay.
But you can send an email to book@godtookmyclothes.com, or you go to godtookmyclothes.com and it shows the email there. And I've got some clients, I do spiritual counseling. I've got some clients who have never spent a dime, and I've given them hours and hours of answers via these messages. So that's a free service.
Oh, that's fantastic. I wasn't aware of that. And thank you so much. That's very, very kind and generous of you. And I hope that a lot of people take advantage of that. Thank you. Thank you so much, David.
James, it's been a pleasure being on the show with you. Thank you so much for the wonderful work you do.
Thanks.